Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Only way I'd be better is if I'm out on the golf course, but not till tomorrow. So,
You're not going to play this afternoon?
no, I'm busy tonight, but I'll play at least 18 holes tomorrow. I'm playing with some logistics people tomorrow afternoon, but maybe I'll play in the morning too and make it 36. Haven't decided.
There you go. Yeah, won't be surprised if you end up doing that.
As that's the benefit to being single, not having any kids.
Yeah, no kidding. Awesome. Well, yeah, episode 20, man. I'm excited for this one. Getting the group chat together for a podcast episode.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Entertaining, I think, and it'll be exciting. Well, shout out to our sponsors, Multi-Service Fuel Card. We're super excited. They're our newest sponsor. Been around since 1978. I mean, you talk about like longevity of a company in the logistics industry, being around for 40, 50 years. It's pretty impressive. Just great communication, great people all around. I know several carriers that use them. So yeah, we're super excited to have them on.
Yeah, for sure. And Trio, who does all of our back end stuff, all the cool graphics that you see, those are all Trio guys' work. And then Black Box utilizes a couple of offshore staff through them. They do great work. And then Sales Dash CRM, Freight Centric CRM, Black Box is a very happy customer. It's very intuitive. It's a great product that Josh and his team has put together. So if you're in the market for a CRM, hit up Josh or Sales Dash team. Tell them that the dog sent you.
Yeah, 100%. HD ships. Obviously, if you're looking to be an agent, I'd love to chat with you. And then our banner sponsor, TAFs. Not enough positive things to say about them. Top 10 factoring company. I saw they recently sponsored the Broker Carrier Summit, so they're the headline sponsor there. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see those guys, in person. They're always looking to help and some great deals and just great people all around.
Yeah, 100%. We got some good sponsors. Well, let's get into it. Let's add the hammer to the stage. Ben, how are you?
Gentlemen, I'm doing very well. How about you?
You're more dressed up than normal.
I know this is a rarity for me, and it might be something that you start seeing me more often. I guess at some point you got to grow up and not wear shorts, t-shirts, and slides out everywhere. So had a influential person mention that to me this morning, that it might be beneficial in the long run if I start dressing like I'm in business and not going to bartender play softball. So I do a little turn.
At least you're not out in your deck. I think the last time we had you on, you were out in your deck in a rainstorm and kept losing reception. So this is a big improvement.
Yeah, it was like 38 degrees and raining. And I mean, that's what happens when, we got the fiance at home and she's like, "You're so goddamn loud on the phone. Just get out of here, please." So got to listen to the boss. But it looks like you took my spot on the porch.
Good again.
Yeah, I'm on the porch.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Vitamin D is good for you. Need to get that sunlight.
Got some lemonade too. So,
did you buy that from the kids in the neighborhood, or do you make that yourself?
No, I bought it from the grocery store, but I haven't seen any lemonade stands yet this summer. So it's
going into something Will always talks about, raising like homegrown talent. I was driving through my neighborhood last Saturday, and when I tell you that I met a future billionaire, the kid that's running the lemonade stand had his buddy down the street. They both got walkie-talkies with signs. And I just went out for a glass of lemonade, and I left with 2 glasses of lemonade and 3 things of popcorn. The kid was unbelievable. He was like 9, has a whole operation, walkie-talkie. He's like, "Mom, we need ice now." He's on it. So future Warren Buffett there for sure.
There you go. Yeah.
100%. Just an update to you guys. John's going to be coming. He had in typical John fashion, he had a hot load of, what did he say in the group message? A hot load of carpet that needed to be covered to New York. So he's going to be still going to be joining us, but going to be a couple minutes late.
He's the only person I know that moves carpet.
Yeah, it's not a really, I think he's told us too, it's pretty consolidated of an industry. Like, what do you say? That one that he does, they're like 50% of it or something here in the country.
There's only a handful of carriers that are set up to move it the way, the kind of requirements that they need.
That's probably a load that would be easily double brokered and stolen if I had to imagine. Not too hard to get a bunch of carpets off the back of a truck.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Ben, man, you got to give us so just some background. If nobody saw my post earlier, it's about, I guess, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. I'm sitting there reading a book, winding down for the day, and we get a text from Ben, and it's a picture of a goat, and he says, meet Hammer Logistics' newest goat, coil rack. One of my sales guys was at an auction, ended up getting it for a customer. How did that happen? Or just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so one of my guys, he came off the oil rig. Been working for me for just over a year now, and his customer, her daughters, it's for their school each year. In April, they get a pig, and they take care of the pig, raise the pig, and then in the summer it gets auctioned off for charity. The kids get to keep some of the money and everything like that. So I actually went out there with the intentions of buying a pig, but believe it or not, we got outbid. The pig ended up going for like $8-9 a pound, and the kids are really sad, right? Because out of all the animals, they have cows, rabbits, chickens, goats, everything that goes out for auction that these kids raise. Only the pigs get slaughtered.
Where is this?
Actually, Butler County Fair. So the building that we were inside of for the auction, the building next door was the one that the sniper from the rally was positioned on top of. So right there at the Butler County Fairgrounds. And this fairgrounds is, there had to be 70,000 people at this. This is an event in Western PA. But yeah, so they came there, and I was like, hey, Chase, I got to get going. I got an early meeting. You can get the pig. Here's the limit. So I'm not paying attention. He sends me, we got outbid on the pig, but I think I'm going to get a goat. And I got the text, and it was like, hey, I actually got 2 goats for the price of half a pig. So I'm thinking, this is like medieval times. We're out here bartering chickens and goats and cats and pigs. And he sent him over. He's like, yeah, Randy's daughters will take care of him for us. So we just got to give him a name. So right now we got Coil Rack. I saw the guy's little horns sitting there. And I think the second one is still on a to be determined. So I like your suggestion for big rig. But yeah, it's one of those things, talk about being different, right?
Yeah.
The goat thing was a little bit extra, but just getting out and spending time with the customer, with their family, it's you try to get it to be more than just business. So
yeah, 100%.
I was wondering what all that was in the group chat last night. I was at a movie and I come back, my phone is all these pictures of goats. I'm like, what is going on?
Yep. And that's a customer that, they're excellent. We're their only service provider. And, it's really once you start buying farm animals, good luck.
Yeah, 100%. That's one of those things. Like you said, you talk about being different, and I commented back, and I was like, Ben's the goat, like the greatest of all time, just obscure. I don't want to say like obscure, but just like sales, right? Like getting out there and getting involved. Yeah. Dude, I don't know anybody else that's buying a goat for a customer on a random Thursday night. And that's what I love about that group message. You get a notification, open up, like, man, there's no telling, but it's usually something like, I don't know, exciting or like off the wall. Like, man, look, I just want a goat for one of my customers. Like, that's electric.
But you know what? That's the benefit too of, and we see it all the time on social media. There's always like the back and forth on LinkedIn. Should you be using it to work with other people or ask for help or this or that? That group chat. The stuff that we talk about with work. The creative ideas to get new business, or just your day-to-day structure and operations. I really do think that a lot of people miss out being narrow-minded and not realizing that, hey, just because, I wouldn't doubt if Will and I sales reps bid against each other on multiple accounts.
You did that one time. You texted me about that. We were talking about that load. Yep. And after I texted you back, one of my guys came over to me for ask advice about the same exact load.
Yep.
And there it is.
And and that's stuff, and that's going to happen. But overall, like when it comes down to it, we're playing in, if you want to say just the flatbed market, you got 20, 30, $50 billion in business there. We're playing in a massive sandbox on a massive field. And if you try to do it alone, it's going to be a lot harder. Matt's been one of the best people I met, and that was through LinkedIn, and he's not even in brokerage, but just through the different connections and everything like that. So yeah, the message. I suggest everybody that's watching this find a couple of their friends in the business and get something going like we have.
Yeah, 100%.
So the question is, who won that freight? Did you guys both get it, or?
I'm sure as hell no, I didn't get it because I bid way too high.
Yeah, I don't think either of us got it, but it was just one of those situations. Ben and I were spitballing on it, right? We came to a number, and then my guy comes to me. I was like, well, we got to go under this number. But I think it was one of those I mean, you run into them every now and then, like sending out quotes to like a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
like
the blast list.
But that's the impression I got from that prospect or account, So, but yeah, no, I wholeheartly agree with your message, what you just said, right? Leveraging connections, and then just friendships. Like again, like I've learned a lot from you guys as well as others that I've connected with on LinkedIn. Black Box uses, our sponsors, right? Sales Stash. We use that CRM Trio. We have employees through Trio. These are all people or things that I wouldn't be aware of, or I wouldn't know them, or have their services without LinkedIn and connecting. So yeah, man, there's some bad out there and there's some good, right? It's just how you use it.
Right. And then you got to find people you can trust, because obviously, so, I mean, we're as open as talking customer names, rates, lanes, and everything else. And when you find good people, you stick with them. You can do some damage in the long run, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and it's always great having John in there when he fires out his morning $3,000 margin load, and it's a little bit of extra espresso in the, you know what I mean, in the latte.
Yeah, John's not here yet, but just a heads up, you guys, we see a lot of John's profit margins. John loves to send when he has a 60% this load to send it into the group chat. Probably not LinkedIn, something you'd want to post on LinkedIn, but he loves to send it in the group chat at like 7
But you know
a.m.
what? And it's friendly motive, because again, it's one of those things, John's doing the bigger margin, whereas Will and I are pumping, overall more margin and volume. But it's one of those things that, like, seeing it on both ways, like, oh, he's getting more freight, there's more freight for me to get, or, oh, they're getting this much, maybe I can push my customer a little bit more, maybe I can push that carrier down a little bit more, so just learning off the good ones.
Walsh off for a second, but I was going to say, yeah, and then beyond just numbers, right? So at least for me in Birmingham, and when we started Black Box, everybody I knew in this industry came from kind of the same start, the same people, right? So all the way that we did things, the way that we thought about things, all came from the same place. So we're stuck in like this school of thought of seeing things as like black and white, right? Like this or that, and then through you guys and other people that I've talked to, it opens up different perspectives, different ways to look at things, right? And I think that like groupthink overall isn't super helpful if you never consider different options or styles. Many ways to cut a cake, right?
Yep, I agree. So Matt, you up there as the recruiter. What's it like being in the group chat with all the brokers? Because I know sometimes you feel a little left out.
No, you guys make me miss it. You guys make me miss it for sure. But it keeps it fun. But I hear about it all day anyway, since I'm recruiting, and obviously I'm talking to some of our current agents. So
now, you as an agent recruiter, do you give the guys? I mean, obviously since you brokered, do you get involved like with some, I would say, data, like, general questions? I mean, I know you've asked our group some, but that's probably something that you can add value to, huh? As a recruiter for your company with these, especially younger or newer agents that, somebody looking to just get started on their own.
Yeah, I mean, I just had the example this afternoon. Someone was looking for some heavy haul connections, and I had a couple heavy haul connections that it's a lot of just connecting people with people, in that sense. Or like John, I mean, John helped me book that. We had that weird place I had never heard of, that online appointment scheduling thing. And, John helped one of our agents out with that, which was key. But yeah, no, it's time flies. Obviously I can't really talk about it, but a year from last week, I can legally move freight again. So
I apologize. I'll be right back, guys.
No, you're good.
John should be coming in here soon too. I don't know how long his carpet load is going to take.
Yeah, who knows? I'm sure he'll hop on at one point or another. To your point, what you're talking about with even like referring somebody, or like leveraging like John's knowledge, right? So when we get back to backtrack a little bit, talking about LinkedIn and connections and all this stuff, right? So the notion that me or you, or really like any individual, will encompass like all this knowledge, right? Like if you pulled everybody that we talked to into a room and then just took that knowledge into one person, that's pretty unattainable, right? So the likelihood of me knowing everything is impossible, but the likelihood of me knowing somebody that knows something about that is very high. So it's another benefit of networking and kind of talking to people around the industry.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's so many aspects. I mean, you learn something new pretty much every day if you're talking to different people. There's just logistics is just such a big industry and so many different, small parts of it, which is what makes it, fun. I guess just look at it from an example of our sponsors. We have a fuel card, a CRM, a factoring company, an agent program, a W-2 program. There's like 5 different layers of the industry right there. We could also have a trucking company, a TMS. International. You can just go so many different layers, which is what makes, logistics fun, in my opinion.
100%. And then, even past that, it touches all other industries for the most part. Like anything, if I look around the room I'm in, my office, all of this stuff has been put on a truck at one point or another, right? So even beyond the logistics companies, the companies that you work with in logistics is just so diverse.
That's where, I don't know, we have gotten in. Am I echoing?
You are.
Can't be my
I think it might be. Yeah. With okay, he left. I'm sure he'll be back.
Okay. No, we haven't really got into this, but that's why, in terms of, and there's some good coaches out there, some good courses out there. It's not to bash that, but there's so much knowledge you can gain for free by just connecting people and getting to know people without spending $1,000 on some course or paying someone X amount of money to be not that there's nothing wrong with coaches or courses, but there's so much free information out there too.
I I jumped in late, so I didn't really catch the beginning of it, but I see a lot of people offering those courses and everything on LinkedIn, and I can't agree more. And I also would like to say, it's one of those, if you have, even if you're successful at it, a lot of times one person in what you do isn't necessarily going to work for everyone else. And I also think there should be a qualification before you can sell a coaching course on LinkedIn. You should have to openly post your numbers and be qualified. Because I know that there's definitely some people that are claiming to be coaches and can do this and teach you that, and their book of business is probably what myself or Will does in a day. And so that would be an interesting, validate. To get the blue check mark on X, you should have to get something to earn that on LinkedIn to call yourself a coach.
Yeah, actually, you just got to pay $5. So to that point, so yeah, man. Even if I have people that I know that are interested in getting in logistics, it seems like they always go down a rabbit hole with some of these courses, and maybe they're good for beginners, but a lot of that information is pretty readily available if you just want to anybody who's been doing it, right, the basics. And I'm not opposed to finding a mentor coach. I recently reached out to somebody who does have a body of work, right, has a demonstrated history of doing what I want to do, and I reached out about coaching. Yeah. So that's good in itself, but yeah, you definitely have to be on the lookout for some of these programs or courses.
Oh, well, John's not coming, huh? He's got that $20 margin to make on somebody.
$20.
He's got 3,000. He's paying $29.50, keeping it skinny for the customer.
Or he's going to show up from the bar here in 5 minutes. He'll be.
Yeah, he'll probably hop on at either a Waffle House or eating some wings.
Yeah, that was a very interesting episode when he was eating wings, and then we had a carrier pull up a sandwich. That was. If you haven't watched our episode "Pastime for Change," episode 6, that was
Big dogs are hungry.
Interesting episode.
Man, John's always a good one to have on. He's just what I really appreciate, respect, and admire about John is that he's very blunt. He is who he is. He does business the way he does it, and he stands by it, right? And that's something that is, unfortunately, you don't find too often. You find people kind of shifting who they are to appease whoever they're talking to. John is who he is, and that's one of the reasons why I like John so much.
Agreed. I agreed. Yeah. And what do they say? If everybody likes you, you're probably not doing something, you're probably not doing big things anyway, right? If you're doing big things, you're going to have haters. So.
Well, also
I got plenty of those.
Yeah, he's positive in a blunt, positive way though. I've never seen John be he knows this, so obviously, but we talk about it all the time.
Use my PNC card. Christian,
I might not have the same style as him in terms of LinkedIn, but he's never, blunt in a, demeaning way or anything like that. He's, just blunt about how he does things. So
yeah, he's very genuine. I didn't mean blunt in a bad way, just that he's very direct.
There you go. Talk about blunt and direct. What's your experience with wrecker services? Because I'm about to get my eyes ripped out down in Arizona.
Man, so we almost did an episode on that this weekend.
Next week we might be doing one.
Dude, I'm having a guy come to pick up a trailer and put it on another trailer, and it's going to cost me $1,100. And that's like, we had a quote yesterday to rotate a coil for $2,600. I mean, I would love to. I know there's insurance and risk. Like I talked to a recovery company one time, and I was like, brother, why don't you have like 37 locations? And he did make a good point, especially like out west and everything with bad weather, when everybody else is packing it in, kind of like firefighters, everybody else is running away and getting out there, the ones going in to do it. But these fees, I mean, do you guys ever think there's going to be something, I don't want to say regulation because it's business, but I mean, Will, what's your like most, I got some worse ones. What's your like most disastrous record story you can think of, like tow record combo?
I got a bad one. I was moving, I don't want to divulge too much information about the customer, the product. But long story short, I was moving some material, lots of material, man. It was a fantastic lane. My volume was great. The margins were good. It was great, man. It was, and I had regular carriers. Like every Monday at like 12 p.m., I'd have 50 loads booked. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Until this one day, truck flips on the interstate. So they had to do highway cleanup, all that stuff. Tow yard takes back the truck and the material to their yard, and is holding it until they get paid full. And it's an insane amount of money, right? And if you're going through insurance, it takes time, but in addition to the cleanup and all that stuff, they're charging you storage. So they're essentially holding your product hostage in a sense, right? And then also charging you for the storage. And it was, I guess what was tough about it was the decision to, do we pay this out of pocket or do we just wait on insurance? It ended up getting settled, but there's a lot of pressure on the customer for us to get it fixed, right? In a very, I want to say like hostile, like tow service, right? It just wasn't a good situation. The amount was crazy, man. It was like $50,000-$60,000, and it's one of those things where whoever shows up or gets the call, right, they can kind of charge you whatever, and you can't. Yeah. It's interstate wreck, so they're not gonna like price it out. You're not gonna get quotes for it. Somebody's gonna show up and get it fixed so that the world can continue moving, right? And they're gonna take it back to the yard and say, okay, it costs this much. You can't dispute it. There's no recourse for you, so you're just kind of there, like it is what it is, and you're trying to navigate through it. Man, I've got some friends that own a towing record service in North Alabama, and yeah, they do very well. And yeah, it's tough, man. I don't know. They need to do something, but I don't know what you can do, right?
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. I had one load didn't flip, but so without the storage fees and everything else involved, just for moving something on the road. It's my first year as a broker. One of the most terrifying calls I ever got, 2 a.m. from a driver. Hey, brother, load shifted. It's got my trailer tilting off the axles, but it's not on the highway, but I'm in the highway. I said, okay, send me a picture. So I get a picture. And then at 6 a.m., the logistics coordinator called and said, hey, my sales rep wanted to know if that's our load of structural steel sitting on the highway blocking 2 lanes of traffic right now at 6:30 in the morning. Said, yeah, it is. Long story short, we got charged. The carrier and I ended up splitting it. And this is my first year as a broker, so this one was really hard to stomach. But it was either not get it done, and then the customer was going to have to pay for it, or I split it with the truck. So they ended up charging us $18,000 to take off all this material, sort it, and restack it, while at the same time making it onto the news, the local news, for shutting down I-65. So that was a fun one.
You get any customers out of being on the news or anything? Any new contacts?
Not that time. Not that time.
Wait, there's another time you're on the news?
Yeah, no, I wish. That would be a good idea, though. Maybe we should do that. Like sponsor, hey, Paul, call Paul Schemes. Hey, listen, Paul, tell him when you need your stuff shipped from between Pirate Game to Pirate Game, you go with Hamm Logistics. What do you think?
Well, I was golfing with the Megacorp hat on the other day, and people were asking like, "Oh, I see that their hat on TV all the time." So I mean, definitely.
So, I mean, I'm a firm believer in. I mean, I know I will Will's black box hat out more than I wear my own stuff, but we always make sure to give customers, friends, and everybody else the gear because, yeah, like John says, let everybody know what you do and the problems you solve. Um, I wish I could say that like I've been walking down the street and somebody's like, "Oh, Hammer Logistics, I need trucks moved. You guys got to do flatbed work, right?" Not like that, but when you're out like at a conference or something, it makes it a lot easier to, "Oh, hey, what do you do?" "Well, I'm in trucking. What do you do?" So,
I would say for us, we do a bunch of black box gear and our people wear it around town. So there's a lot of times we'll call local companies who have heard of us here. They know somebody that works here. They've seen us out and about our social media, and that recognition does help. Right, it's much easier to. The door looks like Alex Bates is tuned in. Nice shirt, bro.
it's not good. You're supposed to still be working for another 27 minutes. What the hell are you doing? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, and actually, there's one. Speaking of, from social media, I mean, I met Alex through Matt, and Alex is doing a tremendous job of, handling basically a whole group of outsourced workers for me. I mean, he's also cooking that full hustling side from the dispatch onto the carrier sales side. So, but definitely a big one. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that one. Better than the other recruit that I got when you were at the other place, but that wasn't yours.
We won't touch on that subject.
Keep that for the chat.
Yeah, keep that one for the group chat. But yeah, no, it's interesting, the kind of the connections you can make from LinkedIn. I mean, kind of one thing leads to another. But I'm kind of curious your guys' thoughts because I get these DMs all the time, and obviously I've been out of the game for a year, so I mean things are changed. Obviously, what worked for me might not work, but. And what do you guys see as kind of the best strategies to go about kind of getting customers in this current market?
In my opinion, it's customer dependent, right? So like it's not like a blanket. It's tough to say like use this blanket pitch or like tactic. I think it depends on who you're approaching. I think at the end of the day, it's still relationship based, right? So it's about those connections, building relationships, getting in front of people.
Being targeted, being smart, like don't just smile and dial and send a generic cold email or warm email or whatever. Have a reason for calling, right? At least that part. For us, to be honest, the most success we've had, and again, it helps having already be established to have the ability to do this. And you definitely couldn't do this as a cradle to grave rep, but getting out to these different association meetings and organizations and getting involved too, not just like going and showing up and saying who you are. Oh, I'm Ben with Hammer to, like actually getting involved in these associations and meetings and participating in them. That's been, like me personally this year, that's probably 80% of my new business has been just meeting people in person. And for like overall sales team, I'd say probably this year, 40% of our new business, almost 50, has been through networking. And that also includes like we got into one because one of my sales girls works out at a gym, and one of the trainers works at a company that, so you never know who you're going to be talking to. But yeah, for us, it's definitely been using your network, really leveraging that. And then whenever you call places, again, call for a reason. We do flatbed. We know our cities. Just be honest. If you're like, be smart. If you're moving 5 loads a week, call the city that you're shipping those 5 loads out of and just tell people, hey, now you can exaggerate a little bit. Hey, I'm shipping out of here a couple loads a day, but the other day they only had 1 and I had 3 trucks. You guys ever have anything that we can help out with? And then, same token on delivery, if you're going to Chicago or you're going to Louisville, Kentucky, call them, call places in Louisville. And, is that me?
I got you.
Yeah, I've got a slight lag on my end, but for us, a big thing that I think is that people don't do enough of is asking for referrals, right? So if I've been working with customer A for a year and I've done a good job for them, man, just having that candid conversation with a customer, like, hey, I really enjoyed working with you and your company. I'm looking to expand my book and insert relevant industry. Who do you think are some good companies for me to target? One, you're leading off with a compliment, and then you're asking an open-ended question as opposed to a yes or no question. And for the most part, if you're doing good by them, they're willing to help you and give you some ideas, right? Or even shippers and consignees, so shippers and receivers that you're picking up or delivering to. If it's a new shipper for my customer, we're going to call like, hey, this is Will with Black Box. We're picking up load X tomorrow for this customer. Wanted to check your hours. Okay, good deal. We're going to have a truck there at 10 a.m. Make sure that truck arrives at 10 a.m. gets loaded. Okay, and then I'm going to call them that afternoon, like, hey, it's Will Black Box. You want to pick up that load today? And then I'm going to kind of like pivot to them, right? Because number one, somebody they do business with is doing business with me. So that's establishing trust. Two, I've displayed that I give a shit and that I can do a good job, right? I care about what I'm doing. Told the truck is going to be there at 10, truck's there at 10. And then C, I've obviously have experience with the relevant industry, right? We're picking up loads, we're working with these people. So that's a good way to expand your book is so it should look like almost like a tree or like a web, right? Like you've got the base customer A, and then you're expanding through that. And then maybe you onboard 2 out of 10 from there. And then from those 2, you get another 10, and it just goes on and on and on, right? So keeping that pipeline full. And the pipeline oftentimes is right in front of you and you're not looking at it. You know, you might be picking up these 10 loads from these 10 new shippers, but you're over on Google Maps trying to find manufacturers. Like you've got 10 right there and you got them in. You're muted, Ben.
Technical difficulties, even from the office, Ben.
I think we're back. All right. So I was going to say, even just, like what you were saying, we move steel too, call, like you said, call the places, but then figure out your customer's competition and every single person that's in that industry and, know the other companies. I mean, and that's I guess the other part is that's been where we've gotten more, like cold calling and cold outreach has probably been 15% of our new business this year. Like Will said, using that spider web and climbing those ropes, following the breadcrumbs, so to speak. And you already have a warm intro, like he was saying. Hey, we're delivering here for so-and-so. Do you guys got anything we can reload back out? That's about as simple as it gets, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, interrupt you, but okay, so if I'm moving steel coils every day, and like that's what my book is, I don't need to go call,
right.
reefer customers and try to talk reefer with them. I need to, man, the industry's so big, and then like whatever commodity you're doing, there's so many companies out there that do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like hone in on what you're doing. So like I move steel, man, I move flatbeds, open deck freight, and I don't claim to be the reefer guy. If somebody in this office has a reefer question, I tell them, like I can't help you. Like I'll try to walk you through like logic, but if it's going to be specific, you need to go talk to my partner Logan. He's a reefer guy. But flatbeds, I can do that. But so I'm not calling. I would never call, like a reefer broker and try to like sell them because it's just not what I do. And there's so much opportunity on what I do know. So I'm going to focus on that and build that as opposed to, man, I don't want to be, what's it say, like master of none, but good at, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to try to hop from one to another, especially efficiency. If you're hopping around.
You're missing out on the fun chaos of reefer freight.
No,
yeah.
Reefer freight.
You were in during the pandemic whenever nobody cared what they paid in van and reefer too. I feel like that's the other thing is van and reefer is a lot more predictable in general. And I think that's why they're able to control the pricing and lower the pricing a lot quicker. And you see a more uniform across it. I mean, obviously there's expedited and high paying loads and everything like that. But whereas like flatbed, depending on the shipper you're working with, I mean, some of these people, I've been working with so-and-so for 7 years. And then you throw a number at them, they're like, holy shit. These guys are killing them. And then it's the other way. We had a customer, I was telling you guys about a meeting Monday, and it's the other way around where, oh, well, you guys are paying how much? Okay, we'll come in and reduce it and give it to you, So it's like, it goes both, you find those companies that they've been working with the same people paying the same rate. Sometimes it's $2 a mile and you're like, there's no way. And then like we had one where they're paying $4 a mile from PA to Mississippi. And that's a $2 a mile lane.
It was 2022, Ben. It wasn't the
that was still, yeah, but there was plenty of people that were still, it was easy calling in 22 because everybody was still shark bit.
Yeah, I don't know how bad it is right now. I always just assume that it's the same as 22 and 23 right now. Maybe it has gotten progressively worse.
It's always changing.
Yeah, it's definitely continued to get tougher out there for people. But that
well,
goes back to
I should tell this story. Remember when I gave you my girlfriend's fiance's company to try to call?
Yeah. Yeah, I had my sales guy do it, and he told us to go kick rocks.
Happens. Sometimes
you did get your girlfriend's.
I did. My fiance.
Company.
Yeah. That took months. That literally took months because same thing. I mean, even him. I mean, that's my fiance's dad, but he had it. You know, he has his people, and I have to do it for the rates that they were doing it. You know, so we had to get in there and make it work. I mean, that's one of those things where and that's the other thing too. Like when you're networking, obviously your name's on the line, but you don't want to try to put people like I'm never going to come up to somebody and say, hey, you're my cousin's brother. You need to be paying us more than what you're doing on your thing. My goal is to come to him. Like I had a friend introduce me to his friend's company, and they're like, "Oh, we're running hot shots from Virginia to PA and paying $1,100." Well, I was like, "Oh, I can do that for $850 for you." So those are the good ones. But yeah, it doesn't always work out too. Like I had somebody that was my best friend's mom got me in a company. We worked with them for a couple of years, and they're a Fortune 100 shipper, and the rates just didn't work. And that's the other thing too. Why I hate the big what's your opinion, Will? I personally despise going after the big enterprise shippers. The Fortune 100, Fortune 250, because especially in tough times, I don't know if the juice is necessarily worth the squeeze.
So I think it depends, right? I think there's a lot of variables at play. So like for me, in like my book, it's the majority of my book is the largest steel manufacturer in the country. And I mean, like that's what we do, right? But it took, man. To be frank, I had to eat shit for like a year before I got the good stuff. And I know lots of people set up with them, and they're like, no, that customer is like not good. They don't know how to work their load boards, but man, like through proving service over time, doors were open to me that aren't open when you first get onboarded. So it's tough to say. Sometimes it's not working. We've been onboarded with really big companies, and we're excited. We're like, oh, awesome, we get on. It's like it's not good, right? So it's it just depends how you're set up to, man. Some companies are set up to churn out that like enterprise volume at slim margins, and like a lot of small manufacturers, it doesn't make sense. You just stick with small and medium size. The man, the myth, the legend. We got John Rogers joining us from
just in time, John.
Hey, hi guys, how are you doing? Sorry, I had some hot carpet going to Jericho, New York, over on Long Island.
What did you make on that one? $50?
I made a little more than 50.
A little more than 50.
A little more. Yeah. Was it four figures or
50 in Waffle House breakfast?
Oh yeah, it was four figures. Yeah, absolutely, it was four figures.
I'm just reading your text message right now.
Yeah.
I like M shades, brother. Those are slick.
Jim Maui, Maui Gyms. They're the best.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I got a story for the group chat about a lady selling me a pair of those down in Fort Lauderdale. That was a fun one. We lost John.
No, he's still here.
Oh, it's just mine then.
He's just frozen now, it looks like.
Yeah, he'll probably be spotty. But back to the enterprise shippers, I think it just depends. Not everything that shines is good, right? So like just because they're big and have a big freight spend doesn't mean it will be an ideal customer. Not all freight's good freight, right? I think that really comes down to how you're set up and how you can work it. We don't try to be anybody that we're not. So there's certain accounts that we're not set up to work adequately. We won't pursue them.
Makes sense. You don't want to try to out Walmart, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, for us, the majority of Black Box is small to medium-sized companies that we work with. My book of business is the only one that really churns out that kind of volume with an enterprise account. Aside from that, it's all pretty much small to medium-sized companies. And like, I mean, if you're so just hypothetically, if you're on credit to grave model, the credit to grave broker can't adequately work a enterprise account. They can't keep up. It's just too much. So,
right.
I mean, there's a lot of factors at play, right? So, just because they're big doesn't mean they're big.
Right. Big company doesn't always mean big money.
Dude, they also said the big companies know how much stuff costs for the most part. Like they have consultants and people that are telling them, and they have access to all stuff. And the small and medium-sized companies, they might, even if they most likely don't know, but even if they did, they might not care as much, right? But the big companies, like when you have that kind of volume, like 5 cents per mile on lane A over a year adds up to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So they really hone in some of these bids and everything. And that's another thing with working in enterprise shipper or negotiating contract rates and committing to something. It's man, not all freight's good freight. Just because you get the lane, it's not good. It's not good if you're losing money, right? Just because you get the loads. So it's just a different beast, right? It's just different than small to medium.
I'm not sure Uber Freight can have a couple billion in private equity, then take all the revenue you can get and lose as much money as you want, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you have some companies will, prioritize revenue over net revenue, right? And it's just how it is. And also, yeah, like some people come in slim and try to expand over time. Again, there's many ways to cut a cake, but like us, Black Box, we're not set up like that. We can't eat losses on like 8 plants for a year. Like that kind of stuff to put us under. All right, so we don't try to.
Right.
Where's your Michael? I'm just noticing this. Where's your Michael Vick jersey? You don't have it today?
No, it's here. I've got the. This is a green screen.
Oh, duh. Yeah, I was gonna say your screen looks different. I was like, I can't see anything in the background. You're using like a one of those, But yeah, no, I agree with you guys in the enterprise shipper. But I also think like models too. I mean, like Ben, you have a model set up more to go after enterprise shippers because you're doing a split model with carrier sales and sales. I mean, cradle to grave is a lot harder to mess with enterprise shippers.
For sure. We try to do the split, and I guess that's another good. Will, you do a hybrid, right? You have a couple guys that are cradle to grave, and then you also run a split model, right?
I might cut down the middle, like half are cradle to graves, half are on the team system. So the idea behind that is to capture as much market as we can. So the cradle to graves are small to medium sized focused, right? And then the teams are more geared towards larger accounts and volumes. So what it makes sense. So in my opinion, at least the way I see it and the way our train of thought with it is, it doesn't make sense for a team to toggle, say, like 20 different shippers in a week. Like it's almost counterproductive. But if and when they have one or two accounts where they can really, everybody's on the same page. They know the operations. They can really churn out that volume that makes sense. But so like with Matt's freight, right? Like with his weird stuff that he's talked about several times. Like an account like that might be hard to work on, where you're having all these like constant changes, everything's not neat. It's like small to medium-sized companies. Sometimes they're like texting you some info, emailing something, calling something. And it's like, man, if I have to play telephone with that and I can't translate it clean in like one communication channel, it's counterproductive to be working with others. So small to medium-sized, we try to keep with cradle grades. So those guys go for the bigger mortgage, right? And the teams go for volume. Like our average, our office hovers around 60%, which is about average across freight brokers.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Oh, well, Matthew, what are your plans for Friday night?
Not a whole lot. Hanging out with some buddies. Looking forward to golfing tomorrow. So with some logistics people. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Matt's turned into this day just a golf game. Every single time I talk to him, he's talking about his golf game. He'll be like, yeah, like hole 12, like give me like play-by-play. He's into it.
Mm-hmm. He loves it.
Yeah, people
you have to. I wish I could golf. I need to start. Our new office that we're moving into has a golf simulator right next door, so I got to learn.
We're thinking about putting one in our office when we're there. Hey, I'm playing golf with one of our sponsors Monday.
Are you?
Are you and Josh playing?
I'm not sure if we'll be grouped together, but I'll see him up there. Where it's like
you're going to the thing in Nashville?
Yeah, he reached out about it, and it's like I think it'd be good. Meet Josh, and then twist my arm. I play golf on a Monday, so I'll be out there.
Are you flying or driving?
I'm driving. It's only so my brother lives in Nashville, so I'm gonna go down Sunday, stay with them. It's like a 3-hour drive from Birmingham, so it's not bad. I'll drive up there Sunday and then come back Monday night.
I forget how close Birmingham is to Nashville. It doesn't. I guess looking at a map, it makes sense, but I wouldn't think offhand that Nashville is 3 hours from Birmingham.
Yeah, man, we're even closer to Atlanta. So yeah, we've got just a bounce away. Well, man, I gotta let my people go at 4. We usually do like a little wrap up. So I don't know where Ben went. He went on this.
And John never made it back. But we'll do this. We'll do this again. So we've had John and Ben on 2 different times. So we'll it was a fun show, and yeah, have a good. I guess shout out to our sponsors before we go. Obviously, Multi-Service Fuel Card again. Like I said, been around since 1978. Great people. We're gonna have them on here at, at some point here soon. Reach out to Jessica there. Black Box, where Will's at. Trio, Backend, HG Ships. If you're looking to be an agent, talk to me. Sales Dash. We talked a lot about them pre-show, but we'll see them Monday. Freight Specific CRM. Josh is great. And Taft's again, big news. They just sponsored the Carrier Broker Summit. I know those guys will be down there for that. Great factoring company, great rates, great communication. Reach out to Ryan and all those guys, Ryan and Rob over there. Really happy for all of our sponsors.
We definitely got a great group, and we definitely appreciate their support. Man, that'll do it for episode 20. We'll be back at it next week. Keep an eye out on the pages. I'm sure that we'll make some announcements and get some stuff scheduled.
Yeah, sounds good. Have a good weekend, Will.
All right, you as well. See ya.